What's up, everybody? And welcome back to the podcast, Shifting the Lens podcast. I'm gonna stop counting episodes. We're here. We're back. The fuck's up?
On the podcast. It was really polarizing. Honestly, I felt validated by saying,
Yo, that's so wild. It's a legitimate annoyance for me. So fuck all y'all with love. But like it was wild to know we got DMs, we had comments, people were split about this pod. Sometimes our lived experience in our four walls is fun to put out there just to have it validated that way. We're just like, there's no fucking way people are telling us stories of why this argument makes sense.
thanks for being on my team.
Yeah, you had a bunch of teammates that time.
Not Brian, but that's shocking to nobody. Brian's never on my team.
Um, but yeah, welcome back. Thanks for your fucking opinions. Um, we start off hards and joys. Hards and joys. You're going first because I said it. I said it. I said it. I called it. Too bad. I'm still up on the fucking parents. I think I'm still in my heart is still being defensive. I think is where I'll go with that. Is this coming out of a place where I'm not okay? Will make me defensive always. But just yeah, there's something about experiencing this life and navigating some of these spaces that we're currently in. Um, that comes with being defensive and back to not sleeping well, really not finding a ton of rest. So it's just I wind up being this defensive kind of mess. I don't really notice it till somebody engages with me. All of a sudden, why the fuck did that just happen? And I can't really get a hold on that. So it's not that I can't get a hold of it. I will figure it out. But just right now, it's like I thought I was out of the thick of it, but this morning kind of proved like I still something's lingering. So that's kind of hard. Doing that lingering thing, the darkness in the back of my mind said, back of my mind is always annoying.
Yeah, and it's always like not out of nowhere, but conversations that we would have any other day that would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always in my head just giving you the space to figure it out without getting mad that you're mad, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like that doesn't help anybody if I get
It's not even like I'm mad. Like it's like all of a sudden I'm throwing punches. I'm not being mean. I'm just like I'm defending myself, and I don't know why. And it's terrible credit. She can sense it. She knows it. She's like, "Hey, what is up?" I mean, nothing. Like I just don't. And then I double down on the defense, and I'm like, I can feel it happening, and there's nothing I can do about it. So like, no, like I'm just saying this thing, and again, and always grateful for this woman that chooses to hold these spaces for me as I navigate the immediately uncomfortable for no reason. It's uncomfortable for both of us, and she sees that it's not just uncomfortable for her; it's equally uncomfortable for me. And I don't, coming out of it, I'm able to apologize and meet her back at the door. Uh, you know, and thank her for holding the space to get to this weird understanding of myself that I don't fully understand. I just know that I've walked far enough to go that that was not right, and she allows me the space to not just apologize, but like reassure her that I understand that she's here to help me and to support me, and she's not my enemy in any of this. It's a big ask to be great all the time, and that's not what I like. That's not like me being a cocky shit. I mean, like to be in a great mind space, to be able to be up, to be on all the time is a skill. Everybody burns out, but just some of the shit I'm dealing with in therapy and the heavies and the hards from the past weeks are just like, I'll say it this way. Here we go. I can figure out my heart. There we go. Take me a second. It's realizing how easily dark my story makes this life. Um, things like I'm rebuilding community and my ability to build community and hold space for I want people around me. When on the same breath, like, why the fuck would I want people around me? I don't know how I want people around me. A lot of the time. I don't. You know what I mean? Like it's that space, it's that darkness, it's that uncomfy. It's always like
yeah. on a lighter note, especially hard when it's like 8 o'clock in the morning and I just rolled out of bed because then my brain's like, hold on, I haven't had a sip of coffee yet. So it was always.
I've been out for 3 hours. Like, just
I usually get met with high energy anyways because you're up before me, but then when it's navigating little things like that, I'm like, hold on, give me a sec. So all is well. Went for a walk. A loop around the block was all it took for everyone to
well, and like it's
navigate.
interesting in those moments, and it'd be fun to kind of navigate that because it's like there's nothing either of us can do, and at some point, like my go-to is to be like, is to know she's right, like that she's on my team, and I don't know anything else to do than to be like, you're right, and just like close back in. And I was working when it happened, and so I went to put my headphone in, like not because I want away from her, but because I'm like, okay, you're right. My solace is then you're right. This is me thing I'll do, and just to like get back to the distraction, so I stop feeling overwhelmed. Because I know at that point that I'm defending myself. I know this is getting anybody know, and so I just try to go back to what I do. I go back to figuring it out, uh, and she won't let that be it. And it's not because it's her decision; it's because she knows that that's not a fun place for me to be. And she's like, no, like why? She took the headphone back out of my head because I think I made it all the way back in my ear. So I was like, no, it's okay. Like, you're right. Do your thing. I'll figure it out. Or just like let myself in a spiral because that's what I will do.
I don't know if I've ever plucked a headphone out of your ear.
Me, I like literally her navigating the space is kind of fun because she sees the opportunities to not let me do the thing that I will do best, and that's like, you're right. I'm gonna then fucking go, and I will get back to you. But then in the moment, she's like, no, like this is too early in the morning for this. Like, what is wrong? Even if that was the last thing she said, which it wasn't, like, not letting me run into myself, so I have to beat myself with it for the next hour till I figure it out. She's like, no, this is still an us thing. Uh, even though I made it a thing myself, is a really powerful part of Jill's skill set in supporting me and what she brings to making my hard less hard. It's yeah, something I will say when she finds and takes those opportunities to make sure I know it's not just me again. It's those are those are invaluable ones, the most valuable ever.
Yeah.
Whatever double negative white people choose.
Yeah. And it's just reminding you that like I've never tried to fight with you. And sometimes that's all it takes. It's just a reminder of like, hey, I wasn't actually trying to fight or cause a thing.
Because yeah, Jill's thing in her communication too is like she delivers a sentence. Like, sometimes my thing is my brain hears it away, and then I'm in the defense mode, and we're like, what the fuck just happened? And I can go back to the what? Can you say that sentence to me one more time? Usually I can catch it. So like we're good at it now. Like, hold on, say that to me, please, one more fucking time differently. Because you will be like, ha, got it. But in sometimes it's just defense, and away we go. Uh, so yeah,
It's okay. We made it.
thankfully and always grateful for you that we make it. And
I got you. Uh, Doing these hard is going to be interesting because it'll let us unpack things.
mhm.
Mine was a little blip. Wow, this morning was busy. Um, I still get so frustrated with my ADHD brain. I forgot not one,
Oh
but
fuck,
two
that
things.
happened today. This is the problem with us not waking up at the same time, and also like our energy differences in the
Yeah. I forgot not one, but two things in the air fryer today, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's annoying to me.
For those of you that follow me on Instagram, this is spilled coffee. You ever have your brain fucking function first thing in the morning and you put your coffee down and as you reach for another bag, it's like you took the coffee and decided to fucking eat it across your kitchen. This is her
Yeah.
spilled coffee.
And I think it's because it's things I was like, got in trouble for as a kid, forgetting anything, like making food, forgetting it, forgetting things I needed for the day. So as much as I was like, haha, I actually made that food. It's just still in the air fryer, and I forgot to put it on your plate. My like little kid brain goes to like, oh my god, you're gonna get in trouble. So
And no matter, this is this is fun. This is cool. You're right. I like this. This is the because this is her version of what I just described this runaway situation being for her. Because no matter what I do in that moment, we're both kind of passengers. Like this is what's laid out. This it was comical as fuck from where I was standing because she never forgets.
yeah,
Like she's
I
takes a great pride in making me coffee. You guys know that loves making great coffee. If you're in the house, not just me, she makes for fuck you, she makes for me every day. And breakfast, like because I won't eat, and she crushes breakfast, and it's great. I love it. I will never hold it against her for changing a recipe, fucking making a different decision in the morning, whatever it is. So she brings me, and we had talked to make sure the engine was appropriate from because I'm having a hard thing. I have a trauma thing with eggs. We'll talk about another episode. Maybe we'll talk about this episode. So we talked about the egg portion that we're fucking gonna make on the sandwich. This new idea. Cool. Sandwich comes. It's literally an egg on cheese on bacon. Fine. Cool. Yes.
except never in my life have I made you that.
Never,
And like,
not one time in we at a time that we've been together has she ever made me this thing. So my brain goes, oh, we're out of turkey bacon. Because normally every wrap, every rendition of this breakfast, there's turkey bacon, egg, and some kind of carb. And it's always delicious. We do this tater tot burrito bowl thing. This fucking every time. And this comes out to me to this morning, and I've been up for 3 hours. I'm working. We've had this blip. I'm like, I've distracted her with this chaos. Cool. I will go toss like bacon bits on because I thought we were out of turkey bacon. Not because I'm not going to say it. I'm not. I just casually get up, walk to the kitchen. She's like, knowing that she's going to ask me because she'll piece it together. She's going to go, what's wrong with the sandwich? Like, nothing, baby. I just wanted a little bit of meat. But this is like, I've got the stove on and I'm about to like do my bacon bits the way I want them. And she sees me in there, goes, ask me the question. I go, yeah, no, I just want protein, baby. That's all. Like more, like, you know, I need meat with mine. She goes, there's turkey bacon in the air fryer. It's literally in the air fryer, just chilling, made, ready to go on my sandwich.
I was like, it's good.
And hers, by the way. She makes herself fucking food, but we're talking this my
I'm also like far less picky with like I'll just like eat it. I also don't really get the egg. So like my brain was like,
I
nice.
the egg.
My brain was like, breakfast sandwich, yum. And then
It sounds like a word and itself. Sorry.
yeah,
My brain
I'm like,
is gonna see that happen.
there's like there's turkey bacon in there for it's cooked, it's ready, it's
But then immediately, it wasn't fun. And I knew after the third time she said it's in the air fryer that she was announcing that and it was no longer for me.
and it's like would have been different if I wouldn't have already like I tried to make a piece of toast this morning, died in the air fryer, then it was rock hard, so the dog ate it.
Happened, but tried to. Not a very good catcher.
But yeah, it's just like those things that like I wasn't diagnosed with ADHD until 23, 22.
How old are you now?
27. Uh, but yeah, those are things I got in trouble for as a kid because nobody knew I did them. And now I know why I do them, but like my brain just reverts back to like, now you're gonna get in trouble because you didn't do the thing you were supposed to do.
You know, and it's wild and it's very cool. That's why I'm most grateful for her walking through my shit and lending me the space to be able to walk with her through the purpose. Because those ones are just they're not fun to know. I know she sees it on my face when I'm defending myself. When it's not really me that's here defending me, it's version of me that's been wounded, and it's not fun to see her face change into someone or something that has been wounded by a situation similar to what we're in now. Uh, and so to pivot quickly with her is, my responsibility, my job, my honor, all the things. And it's the beauty of doing this life. It's the space for the good. It's the space for all of last episode. Um, it's space for things like ours.
And I think that'll always frustrate me, but it is what it is. Our brains are really good at forgetting things.
Yeah, some days she looks at me and it's just like this annoyance with having ADHD. And like, I don't got time for that shit. Like, those are different days. It's different care. It's like, that's a weird thing to be frustrated about, babe. I don't understand that. That's a beautiful thing. But yeah, you forget that. You know what you remembered? You remember 17 things that kept us on schedule yesterday, even though you have a weird thing with time, is you're never on time, but you kept us on schedule, which is perfect.
Anywho, what's your joy from the week?
I don't know.
Oh, I got one.
Yeah.
I shared it on my story, the podcast story. I don't know. Somebody DM'd me, and here's something you should know about Jill. If you tell me you like something that I do, I will literally never stop doing it. Whether I see you in person or not. You tell me anything about you that you like. This is why I'm really good at gifts. But also anything that I do that you like, I will never stop doing it. So somebody DM'd me and said they liked my outfits, even though I haven't even worn anything cool on the podcast yet.
No, because this is like, hold on, because you're hiding your opinions. Because y'all can't see her as wandering talking about this thing, but like, this is a cool, legitimate joke.
So now I will plan my outfits for somebody was like, I like your outfit, gay looking or whatever. And like I had a conversation in my DMs. It was like, being told you look gay is such a niche compliment because there's many people that would be like, what'd you just say to me? And meanwhile, I'm like, oh my God, thanks. So now I have a new thing of planning outfits for the podcast. So yeah, if you ever want me to never stop doing something, just tell me you like it. So thanks for saying you like my outfits. I'll start wearing cool ones for the pod.
Cast. Joy. I have a couple, and they're all kind of around you, I think. Getting to play with you the last week, like the actual like set time that we got to play. Was a big joy for me. I love when we get to play. I love creating scenes with you, but I love when we really get to see just together. Uh, a lot of this life is creating scenes and holding space. You know, you heard a little bit about that in the episode, but there's also a lot of giving. There's a lot of back and forth in these spaces, and dom space is as much of a thing as subspaces. This almost ethereal sense of being in that moment. So one of my joys was coming out of that with you of just a well choreographed and executed scene, a longer scene than normal, but to the credit and repeated joy of my favorite toy. Uh, Walking around with my signatures.
Nobody look at me.
That would be why it's my joy.
Calling it a pod in that moment is the definition of being a brat. Like there's that quote that's like, if I ever die, just know I ran my mouth till the bitter end. That is me choking on my coffee. I'm like, wait, I can still annoy him. Hold on. Let me sneak one more in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my
I
God.
was not done my joy. Joy killing asshole. Just because you were my joy and your face hurts now. Yeah, that was my joy. And it was it's for me like that, like this lasts weeks later. And always plays into the next scene and the next space. So yeah, my joy from that and it leads into the opportunity internationally to be a safe kink and BDSM educator through that website. If you want more details on that, I would be happy to share that with you as they're coming out. As I get more details and get signed on to be an educator through a very unique opportunity. I'll give you guys more details, but there's a lot of joy in this confirmation of space and confirmation of path. Away we go. And those are our hearts and joys for the week. Again, always share yours, comment, DM, all the things. We'd love to hear your hearts and your joys from the week.
Oh, also, I'm saying this at the beginning because some of you probably don't listen all the way to the end. We deeply appreciate when you leave a comment on Spotify. You can leave a comment right under the episode, or leave a rating or review on whatever platform you listen on. Would be greatly appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks. This week we're going back into some conversations around being poly. I collected some screenshots from the internet, and we're gonna give our thoughts, feelings, opinions. Okay. There's much heated discourse about hierarchy in polyamory. Do you want to explain that first part first? For those of you that are like, what the F does that mean? What's hierarchy in polyamory?
By definition, is a ranking tier. There's tiers.
You know, like
So,
the king, queen, that way.
king, queen, joker, jester, all the funds.
Peasant.
Like there's a in polyamory in life. We do it a lot. Look at this is oh. So those of you that don't know me, and you're watching this for the first time, if you ever see me do that, what you're watching is the manifestation of the internal Rolodex. Further back, you can hear me trip to go back further in time.
I view it as like when a roller coaster goes up, when you start to like trip over your words, I'm like, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And then the drop is just your feet on whatever. Like, we're ready, set, go.
A bad deal. I don't even know what we're talking about. We just to the comments of doing it again. Oh, what was where was I?
Hierarchy.
Oh yeah. We do it in this weird thing in society, ranking best friends. But the argument for me is like I have like 40 best friends, but that's why I'm poly and have the cute one. But to that point, hierarchy is like there's a ranking system. Think of it that way. Um, Someone has more importance, and the outside world looking in thinks that we all live that way, and we don't because of the next problem, which means vetoing someone else or having a voting, creating a democracy in your home, which is supposed to be a safe place. But if you look outside your four walls and see how democracy lives for everybody else, it's kind of a bit fucked up out there.
It's like if your husband or partner or whatever has ever been like, I don't want you to be friends with that person. That would be in the poly world of me being like, you can't date that person. Strictly because I live with him.
I blacked out for a second. What? I'm back. I'm good.
Did you hear anything?
Yes.
Okay.
You made an analogy.
Yeah. So yeah, if you've ever had a partner be like, you can't be friends with that person, that's because they
Red
think,
flag. Like unless they're actually toxic,
yeah. But
that's a red flag.
it also comes from that person thinking they
They
have
don't need
more say,
for that.
more power, more pull, more control.
They deserve the right to be able to cancel people or things from your life. Like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah. So there's, I think, a pretty not universal because we see it happen all the time, but most people who are living the poly life healthy will see it as a red flag if
Yeah, this isn't just us. This is
you choose to have hierarchy in your relationship. So like if somebody was like, yeah, if my husband doesn't like you, I'd be like, yeah, I don't actually care to find out if your husband likes you. I'm out. But yeah, it's a big.
That's hierarchy. This is why you can hear how like edgy we get about it because there's just like this weird. It's gotten us to a point where we rank everything in our lives, including people, and that's fucked up. Whether you're polyamorous or monogamous, whatever the fuck you may identify as, like I don't understand how people can't feel burned if you rank them as importance in your life. It's like you rank the love you have for them. If people are competing for the top tier of your love, then someone's always got to lose.
Yeah.
That's fucked when we're talking about love.
It also means somebody has more pull, and that's always a dangerous game. Whether it comes to like, that means you'll cancel plans if your partner needs you that night or they get more say in your life. Like, it's a big risk to have somebody that has that much say in what another
becomes manipulative really quickly. Yeah, I'm sure there's people that give me a second. Because I haven't done the research. I'm sure there's people that do it well. Like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be funny, but like I haven't been able to do the math on like you can freely love whoever and however you choose to. Fine, be my guest. But muddying the waters and to say that you're polyamorous and you do it in a healthy way, but someone around you feels like they come second is weird. Like Jill doesn't come second to anybody anytime the same way Ness doesn't come second to anybody ever the same way my daughter doesn't come second to any. Like I would die for all three of those beings. They get the same level of protection. The only reason that one of them might get like the full on kill on sight defense out of me is because she came out of me. And even then, everybody else still gets a version of that. For me, like you know what I mean? Like there's a weird discrepancy in this love quota, love quotient that we divvy up by importance, yet we're starved for love, we're starved for connection. So whether you're polyamorous or monogamous, ranking your people by importance and dosing out your love that way is fucked, in my opinion.
Yeah. Rest of this screenshot. This is a personal opinion. Not my personal opinion. Because I'm about to read this quote, and if you think it's my personal opinion, you're gonna be like, I'm so deeply confused. Not my personal opinion.
She's reading
The internet's personal opinion. I believe wanting to have a primary partner isn't good or bad. It simply means you seek security that comes from having a stable and comforting dynamic with this one person. There are arguments that can be made that you will ultimately only feel secure if you find that in yourself. I help people build that self-security. So that in itself, you just, what's the word I'm looking for? Nope, contradicts. That's the word yourself, because it's not good or bad, but here's how I'll help you fix it means you do think it's a habit or a thought or a belief that needs to change. Ethan is my anchor part if we're choosing words. Live-in feels weird. That feels like
nesting also feels weird.
Yeah.
And that's like for us, nesting feels like a nature versus nurture thing for me. And and that's just like it might be a trauma thing for me. It might just be how I feel about how we live. It's you are in my just it feels solid, it feels right. You are my anchor partner. And when I say that to people, like the people that actually like come around and spend time around us know that like you are the person that can look me in the eyes and I know I'm safe. A lot of my partners could do the very same thing. They don't have access to me 24/7. They don't live with us. They have other lives. They don't want, uh, the responsibility of supporting me in all that darkness all the time. Like, cool, fine. Jill lives here. She's here all the time. It doesn't make her more important than Ness. And people are weird about that thought, and I don't know why.
I think probably because people don't believe it.
Like people think that I can't do that, or you guys.
I think people think once it came down to it, I would win, in quotes. But like, there's very few
people forget. People think that I don't check you on your shit though, and I think that that's part of this life that we don't like openly do it. I don't have to check you on a lot of shit. I don't get a choice at this all the time. But like when we run into the things we talked about in episode 2, I think it was with jealousy. When you run into things like jealousy, like in that, like Jill can't be more important than Emily if Jill's jealousy is about Emily. I am neutral. I am absolute because I know that it's not about Emily. Like, I know that that's not actually about Jill. Like Jill's not that person. So there's something in this that we got to work on. You know, like it's not the same thing. So, holy God, anymore. You do your.
Yeah, I just think people probably don't believe it, which is fine. You don't do because I also assume people have experienced dynamics, or it's hard to understand, especially if you're coming out of monogamy. And people that are probably have husbands, I get that you signed a paper, you wear a ring, whatever. That probably, if it came down to it, your husband wins. Still small red flag, but like you also tied your life to that person. That doesn't make it more important. That just means there's pieces of your life that you do with that person. But to make him more important than more important is weird to me. Like I don't want to feel like
Here's why for me. Some of you people in monogamy, you have a group of best friends that you do nothing but bitch about your husband. Who's more important? I'm being real. You can't make that about that. How often are you over there complaining about the situation that you're in? Not just a man. but the situation, right? Like any version of this, like, so actually, how important is it to you? Or are you just still drinking the Kool-Aid? And for the record, I stirred the bowl before. I was a fucking worship leader. And some of you get that can see the theme, how I keep going back to how my faith has absolutely fucked me over my whole life. And that's my story, my journey. I will talk about the other reasons it got fucked up. You're not going to like me. But I'll be
Uh, I saw a thread that was like,
it.
married people give the best advice. And then it was like, advice, don't ever get married. And like, how many married people have said that to you? Besides the point.
But no, to the point. I'm not sorry. Like you guys run away from the house to go get freedom from it all the time. And this is males do it too. You go around your boys and talk all the shit about the woman you married. Like,
You didn't have to get,
who's more important? Like, your boys are currently more important in that moment right there. Fine. I don't give a fuck. That's not even my judgment. Hear me judge you over here. What? How are you still living in a land of hierarchy if it keeps switching through your importance?
yeah.
Anyway, that's a food for thought and just general. I've had to ask myself many of the same questions and check myself for fuck's sakes in my own learned indoctrination of hierarchy. This doesn't come from I'm holier than thou. Fuck off and miss me with it. I was a worship leader. I have done the indoctrinating. I have done this. I've lived both sides of this thing, and I come out over here being like, this makes way more sense. Uh, because I also know what it's like to only think there's one way. I know what it's like to think that there has to be someone of utmost importance, and it's got to be a dude that I can't see, and then a woman that he made for me.
Yeah. I just,
And then our kids, because you have to, and then a house, and I have to provide and spend, whatever. You're good.
do you have any further rants on marriage and religion?
There's something about that. It's about the hierarchy because it's all based in the same thing. It's all based off of that idea that there's someone that outranks the next.
Yeah. I used to always see a debate that was like, between your wife and your mother, who's more important? And I'm like,
Not my wife. I'm gonna tell you right now.
I was really close to it. Um, but like, why are we creating a game out of like house is burning? Who you picking? Uh,
The house is burning. It's because I
I also
set it on fire and
I also think like all those things are situational. Like it shouldn't just be like a which person is more important. Be like, I don't know, who needs more assistance? And you can apply that in any way you want. Like if my house is burning down and I only use you and Nicola are in it, like can one of you walk in, the other can't? Cool. I'm taking the one that can't.
why did you choose Nicola? Like, first of all, I've seen you jump up 8 stairs.
Yeah,
I knew
like,
you could get out in one strike. Nicola's missing a leg right now. We need to
but
figure this out.
yeah, I think that's more the route we take in this life of
Mhm.
like it's not that one person is more important than the other. It's like who needs more support right now. Like if you're having a tough day and you need support and plans can be shifted, I will shift them. But that's not because you're more important than whoever I had plans with. It's just like, listen, this is a piece of my life and it could go.
And usually even in that, it's a pivot. It's less of a divergence. It's like, hey, do you mind coming to the house? We'll make you food to eat. It's just like had a bit of a day, and doesn't want to ruin our time together. But like, could we come and do this at the house? Where, like, he'll go upstairs. He just wants to be in a space with bodies.
And that could go the other way too. Like when I do have other partners of like, hey, I know we were gonna watch a movie tonight, but so and so's having the worst day ever. Sure. Is it okay if we watch a movie tomorrow? And that's yeah, that's a form
Because
of
it is
like
you're right.
who needs support, not they're more important.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I think that's something that even as we navigate new connections, that there most people are most floored by is the freedom with which we navigate that. It's you know, Preacher needed to come over and spend the night randomly last week. That was fucking cool. That should have been going to you. That was neat. That was cool. But being able to honestly support somebody just like through a wrench in how we all expected that staying over to go. And it was just this auto need, and we were able to meet her there in meet them there, sorry, in their need. And that was fucking wild to pivot freely to that she's the most important. Let's make her feel good. Like this is stressful enough. How can we go above and beyond to make this feel like a home for her? Uh yeah, just what a cool and fucking way to do life. Anyways, I could rant on that shit. I got excited with.
This goes with what we were just talking about. I just thought this was a neat way of looking at it. I've started thinking about healthy love and polyamory like a pie. Less like a pie and more like sunshine. Pie is limited. If someone gets a bigger slice, there's less for you. But sunshine, it's abundant, nourishing, all in the garden at once.
You can look at
Somebody needs more.
your energy like pop because there is a limit to it.
Yeah.
But love by creation, there's no limit on it. There's no like every deity you know every version of there's something else that knows and creates based off this ceaseless idea of love.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck do poly relationships work? Like when y'all break up, do you just vote them out? I'm picturing Survivor. That's like,
Yeah.
been voted off the island.
Oh, the weakest link. Goodbye.
To be clear,
That would be hierarchical polyamory.
it's not my decision when relationships end. And I use you as an example because I haven't had to navigate it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's never my idea for you to break up with somebody.
No. Like yeah, that's actually funny. No, it really is like not a it's always a me decision. And it's always going to be like if this is it, it would have oh fuck. Because then I like think this is the only real world thing I can think of that would be different is like you, me, and Nicola, which would be so wild. And it still wouldn't be a vote because it would still be like, hey, even if it's like if I went to Nicola and was like, hey, Jill and I have been in the same house for 9.5 straight months now, and as much as we get to beat the shit out of each other, we might actually want to beat the shit out of each other. So we're gonna take a break and just and pause the responsibility aspect of our relationship. It would be that kind of conversation because it would be there's no way I'm trying to damage the love that they have for each other. There's no way I want that. And even still, I would be pivoting by way of trying to keep Jill in my life because I love the being, not because of how she represents that love in my life. It's that thing. So no, there's no vote. There's if someone was toxic to me, if Jill was toxic to me, then it's a vote. And they're going to get out or I'm out. Ultimatums, that's different. But
yeah, and I think if it was an actual concern of mine that somebody in your life was harmful, it would be a conversation. But it's not me being like, ready, hands up if you want them kicked out the club, ready to go. It's like bring Brian down and be like, what's your
and it's kind of interesting on the other side of that too, though, because then the community also gets small. And that's a weird bit that I don't think anybody clocks. Like the last breakup would have been a month and a half ago. And it wasn't really a breakup, like we had just entered into the relationship and trying to feel out seeing each other. And just some things came up and I needed to go. But then because they've been around us for long enough, it had to work its way through. So like there were people like, oh, how are they doing? It's like, oh, actually I think they're doing pretty good. We actually don't hang out that way anymore. And it just wasn't meant to be, but we will still do work and hang out together. We started talking the other day. You know, it's that free pivot, but the community itself also kind of suffers some of the loss. It makes this ripple effect through the support network because it's been altered by definition. So something else that happens when breakups happen is that the community is affected, not because they made the vote, but because they get to lose an extension of a piece of support that they had and that they gained from being a part of this thing in some way.
polyamory can be extremely liberating to people who struggle with fear of abandonment.
That's worded funny. It's worded as if polyamory is the escape mechanism to the abandonment, but it's not. It's
Or like it's easy because
yeah, and it's not. It's actually hey, okay. That's fun. I hate when you do that to me. I love when you do it, but like now you're gonna make me think on camera. Cool.
need to read the rest.
Yeah, no, read that. No, read it one more time so my brain can sit with it.
Polyamory can be extremely liberating to people who struggle with fear of
Okay, so on the non-pessimistic side, if you're reading this at full face value, then yes, polyamory can it absolutely be that.
and the reason I'm asking him and not giving my opinion is because I don't have abandonment thing.
Mhm. Yeah. So a part of this this sentence for me, anyways, that rings true is like it is a benefit to somebody like me who has lived through horrific traumas and had a ton of really, really shitty experiences with love connection, love communication, um, and the experiences therein. So yeah, when someone like me finally makes it all click, and realizes that I've been polyamorous my entire life because of the things that wired me the way that they did, it does directly benefit me to be polyamorous because it means that I get to be content, I get to be safe, and not just in my home, where I go, the people that I surround myself with. And though, like, that sounds like a really normal thing, it's not, because everybody can be Lenny. Everybody can be my mom. Everybody can so easily be switched in my mind's eye to the faces of the people and the things that have done me so much harm that I don't actually understand how I breathe most days. So from the dark side and like the wounded side of that question, it's so beneficial to get to craft and create my support network that I also get to then be close to. That way I knew I was this way because somebody finally drew the connection for me between the way that I navigate attachment because of my abandonment through trauma, to now find this beautiful thing where I can connect freely with people on the healthy side of the abandonment. It's not because I want there to be people so that if somebody leaves, I don't notice it. Always notice it. I'm not polyamorous because I have attachment disorders and abandonment issues. I am polyamorous and I have to navigate still attachment and abandonment issues and disorders.
The rest of the statement says, in monogamy, if your partner is into somebody else, that means they need to make a choice. AK, you're getting kicked out the club. Um, in polyamory, that doesn't need to happen. As long as your relationship stays strong and committed, your partner can love others without stopping their love for you and continue to show up in your relationship. The knowledge your partner is choosing you every day creates emotional security and starts to heal attachment wounds.
Yeah, like it's the fact that it took me so long to realize that I was this way, that I am polyamorous, is annoying because of the way that I have had to navigate attachment. It's not because I've been searching for love in all the wrong places. It's because I've been searching for the same love that I'm holding space for and been met with these boxes that I've been trying to fit the way that I love in and never quite being able to do the thing. Uh, so now in this place where people get to freely choose how they show up for me, and I get to freely accept how people get to show up for me, is a part of navigating my abandonment issues freely. It doesn't actually have anything to do with being polyamorous for me. I was living this way with friends. I just didn't know there was a title for it.
One tangent at a time. There's a comment on that post that says most people with abandonment wounds find a sense of security in monogamy because they finally feel chosen. I believe it's hard for most of them to comprehend that their partner will keep choosing them too if they have other options. Um, I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about that comment. Uh, Personal opinion, I feel far more secure here knowing you're not stuck with. Like you could change, you could find other people, but like you choose to be here versus like monogamy, even before marriage, is like a it's me and you and nobody else.
Yeah, and it becomes obligated.
Yeah, but to each their own. My other thought was that I said a post to one of my friends. Um,
We're tangenting wild right now.
it was polyamory probably saved a lot of my friendships in addition to my romantic relationships because I can process being a little bit in love with my friends a lot easier now.
Mm-hmm.
I sent it to her and she was like, a lot in love if we're talking about us. Uh, but I think that proves our point of like, love is love. Like, if
Mm-hmm.
you think the love you show to your friends versus your partner is different, it's not. Um,
Like,
and
I don't fuck my friends. Like, well, try it.
my,
I'm not. I'm kidding, but I'm not. But like, uh, you're right. But that's like your chosen expression of that love. But the love itself is love.
yeah,
Like sexual love. What the fuck is there's no
yeah,
the fuck are you talking about? No, love in its purest form is love. Like fuck around. You can't taint love. I'll tell you that for free. Like that love is one of the most pure, raw, untaintable things there is. Like if you won't hold on, I'm gonna do the thing. Uh, I can say that love is the most ugly, horrific thing there is on this planet. The love fucked me from the time that I was 5 until I was 15, but it didn't. Some piece of shit did that. Called it love. Fucked with my brain a lot. And for the last 10 years, I've been unpacking the shit out of all of that to turn up and tell you that love doesn't have a container.
yeah. And I also like you will find what you're looking for if you lived life thinking that love was mean and violent and whatever words you choose to describe love based on your past experience, you're going to continue to find that. That's why I get so frustrated with, well, she's not a friend anymore. Used to get really frustrated with one of my old friends because men suck and men are the worst and men lie and men do this and men do that. Well, best of luck to you. You're going to keep finding exactly that. Where if you chose to be like, using her example, like men are nice and men care for me and men do X, Y, and Z, you'd probably have better luck finding somebody to fit that. But like, no, you're absolutely right. Men are all of those things because you believe it to your core and you will continue to find that. So no matter what your past is with love, I have my own not great things that have happened with people who claim to love me. But like, if I took that and ran with it, that's all I would continue to find. And that's no fun for anybody. Just some thoughts, feelings I gathered from the internet and our personal opinions.
And conversations we've had, like it's fun because you guys send us half of this shit. Like, what do you think about this? Did you see this? How'd this go? And it's fun to get to be this space right now. It's holding some of these conversations, even the conversations we get to have in here, with our roommates, with our friends, with our polycule, with our people, with whatever the fuck. It's cool to hear everybody else's experiences, but also just get to collect and share and be free to keep doing.
I think it's, and maybe we'll have to get like Brian or one of my friends that's monogamous to come on the pod or like answer some questions because I saw a post the other day that was talking about like if you're poly and have monogamous friends that support you, how do they do it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's an interesting topic
Yeah.
like for us to speak on because we're on the other side of it. My best friend who supports me through most of my things is monogamous. And she I'm not going to say never, but like probably won't be poly, or at least in the same way we are. But she still finds the space and understanding to support me, and I think it's
Mm-hmm.
interesting to be able to do that because I think that's a lot of people's fear too. Is like, how am I going to find support if all my people are monogamous?
We're people, right? I think so at this point. Like we can be, and that's again the point of this podcast is as much as it's for us to share our lived experience and have it be somewhere to we love going back and forth with you guys and hearing what yours. It's a safe space for you to share, for you to come to and find community and people that get it.
Yeah, and
Whether you're monogamous, monogamish, polyamorous, not polyamorous, yeah, like uh, I'm sticking with it because I hate the other ones. uh, we want this to be and feel like a safe space. Um, we joke and can come off crass and can come off judgmental, but like you got to know that, and from my perspective, I also lived on the other side of the Bible. I lived in the vanilla, try to fit in as never fitting in, been kicked out of churches left, right, and center for existing.
I went to Sunday school.
You know what I mean? Like I've experienced the other side of this coin that I now live on, and it comes from a place of figure the fuck out faster for you as I navigate figuring it out for me.
Yeah, and yeah, that can be a conversation. I was going to go on a tangent, but I can't see the time of this podcast, but I assume it's
What's
lost.
the tangent?
No, it's going to be a whole conversation. Yeah. I'm not telling you right now. I'll tell you later.
This is how the podcast is going to end to make me
but
because like I hate when you do that shit.
yeah, okay.
No, you listen. Ask what? No, say it.
Yeah, we love when you guys. I'm the one with an attitude problem. Um, we love when you guys hop in our DMs and give us feedback on the episodes and just share when something lands with you. If there's topics, you can hold that up all day. I don't care.
I've tried many
If you, there are
every day.
if there are topics you want us to cover or things you come across on the internet where you're like, haha, what? Please send it to us and we would love to chat about it.
Yep, we would. We really would. This has been great. I have a blast. She is blessed. Annoying. Yes, yes.
You can find us at, oh, I almost said the wrong handle, at Shifting the Fence Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. I started a TikTok account.
Yeah, go follow the TikTok. Me too.
Please. And you can find me at Coach Jill.April on Instagram and TikTok.
Find me on this on Instagram and my website. I think that's pretty. Oh, I pretty much everything everywhere. Find me on this in some way. I'll fuck you.
I'm gonna go find him now. Bye.